Last meeting, I started with a projectile motion. And we learned if you have a projectile which is projected from a cannon, the projectile will take a parabolic base. So we can figure out the properties of this base by figuring out the range, which is the horizontal distance x, using this equation. Or we can figure out the total height that this projectile can reach, which is y distance, using this equation. And also we can figure out the time required for this projectile to hit the ground or hit any position by using this term t. And we learned last meeting that any parabola has sloped tangent. At this point, we have tangent. This tangent is inclined with angle theta. At this location, we have tangent. This tangent is inclined with angle. But we have a point, which is the highest point of the parabola. The tangent at this point will be horizontal. We don't have vertical component for this tangent. So at the highest point of the parabola, Vy, the vertical component for velocity, will be 0. This information will help you to solve some problems. And we did. In example number 9, the highest point of the parabolic base, vertical component of velocity equals 0. So this equation equals 0. From this equation, I can figure out the required time to reach to this position. I will cover 2 more examples today. We will have a short meeting. Let's see. We have a projectile is launched upward from level ground at an angle of 60 degrees. So we have leveled surface. At this location, we have a projectile launched upward with initial velocity equal 45 meters per second. It's very important to draw your problem with inclined angle theta equal 60. So this projectile will take a parabolic path until hitting the ground surface. How long? How long means time. How far means distance. Be careful about this expression. So how long will it take before the projectile hits the ground? We need to figure out the time required for this projectile to hit the ground. So what is the time t? So at the point where the projectile started, we can assume x and we can assume y. At the last or the final destination, what is the value of y here? Do you have any vertical distance for the final destination related to this origin? I believe no. Y equals 0. This is the start point. This is the key of the problem. We learned last meeting that we have equation for y equal negative g t square divide 2 plus v naught sine theta time t plus y naught. I believe we don't have initial y. And the y value for the final destination is 0. G value negative 9.81. T square divide 2. Initial velocity 45. Sine theta sine 60. Time t plus 0. Go ahead and simplify this equation. 0 equal negative 9.81 divide 2. It will be negative 4.905 t square plus 45 times sine 60. It will be 38.97 time t. We need to figure out the solution of this equation. Guys, do you remember what I did last meeting? 0 equal. I will take t outside these terms. So the remaining here will be negative 4.905 t. The remaining from this term will be 38.97. We have two terms multiplied together equal 0. If you have two numbers or two terms multiplied together and the final answer is 0, one of them probably may be 0. So the first term t probably equals 0. And the second term negative 4.905 t plus 38.97, probably this term equals 0. From this expression, the only unknown is t will be positive 7 or 8 seconds. I believe first solution will be rejected. Doesn't make any sense for this projectile to take this path until hitting the ground surface and the time is 0. Doesn't make any sense. So the other solution is accepted. So t equal 8 seconds. This projectile will need 8 seconds to reach from this initial position to hit the ground by the initial velocity 45 and angle 60 degree. Any question? Guys, if you are watching for a movie about war, you will find the soldier, they have a cannon, probably like this, and they are adjusting the inclined angle for this part of the cannon. That's right. So this cannon can launch the projectile with initial velocity is known. Based on the initial velocity and the adjusted inclined angle, I can calculate where this projectile will hit the ground surface or how long. Okay, and how far, what is the distance. All of these calculations must be done for the soldier to adjust the inclined angle, because no adjustment for the initial velocity. Initial velocity based on the type of the cannon. Anyway, one more example. But before solving the last example, do you have any question? Do you have any question? Any question so far? Okay. The last one, piece of cake. We have an object, projectile also, is launched at an angle 45 degree from this location on level ground. This idea is very important. Leveled ground surface. Probably on Friday, I will give you another idea for projectile. So what is the range of the projectile if its initial velocity 55? What is the range? Range means the horizontal distance x from the initial position to the final destination. What is the range? So we are looking for x distance. We have equation for x. Do you remember that? V naught cosine theta time t plus x naught. But we have issue here. I agree with you. The initial horizontal distance is 0. We don't have x naught. But we still have issue. What is the time? So we need to figure out what is the time required for this projectile to reach the final destination, t. So we need to figure out the time first. Okay. The final destination at y equals 0. If you assumed your origin is here is x, here is y. So the final destination related to this origin, y equals 0. Okay, we have equation for y. The equation for y is negative g t squared divided 2 plus v naught sine theta t plus y naught. Y naught is 0. Y is 0 for the final destination. Negative 9.81 t squared divided 2 v naught 55 sine 45 degree. Please go ahead and simplify your equation. Negative 4.0905 negative t squared plus, we have t here, plus 55 time sine 45 degree. This value is 38.9 t. We have a solution for this equation, t equals 0 or t equal 8 seconds. This one will be rejected. This one will be accepted. So the time required for this projectile to hit the ground surface equal 8 seconds. But this is not required. The required is what is the range, x. Okay, x will be v naught 55 time cosine 45 degree time t, which is 8 seconds, plus x naught, which is 0. So I can figure out the range, which is distance x. It will be 55 time cosine 45 degree time 8. So it will be 311.13 meter. So this projectile will hit the ground surface at distance x equal 311.13 meter. So please be familiar with these equations. Equation for x, equation for y, equation for horizontal component for velocity, vertical component for velocity. These 4 equations will help you to figure or to solve any problem in this topic, projectile.